Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I think today we'll be doing a bit of servicing on this tidy little Mazda CX3. I think it'll need oil filter, maybe check the brakes out, might need some pads and some new fluid in it. It's coming up 100,000 Ks and I think on standard brake pads, so it's a pretty good effort from Mazda. We'll get it in the garage and get it going. Before jumping into this job, I thought I'd just go over some of the tools we'll be using today. Socket sets, axle stand, DAC, electric impact if you want to be politically correct, a low profile jack, not that this car's low, but I just have that for my car, and then various sockets, spanners, screwdrivers. You gotta have your work boots on too, so I thought I'd put the Crocs on. Gotta keep it minty. As with most things with cars, first thing, jack it up. Just got to find the jack point on this car and we'll get it up in the air, get the wheel off, go over looking at the brakes. Now that the car's jacked up, we'll get the DAC loose out, make sure it's on unwind and not tighten, and we'll get this wheel off. After a little bit of inspection, the pads seem to be absolutely phenomenal. It's about 6 mil left on them for 97,000, 98,000 kilometre car with OE pads. Not a bad go. I might put the time into cleaning up under here because this schmutz is not good enough. Generally, just to do this, it'll be a bit of all-purpose cleaner and a spray bottle. Good old Bowden's agitating brush and your old hanky. Once it's had a bit of a scrub, we'll just wipe it down with the rag. Apologies about the angle. The iPhone is no cinematography genius. And you get the idea. It's the little things that count. Now, as you can see, it takes very minimal effort to get things looking a whole lot better. You take your car to get serviced and it looks like this. Someone's going to take a lot more care of your vehicle because they see that you take care of it. How good is that? Although it's no Pebble Beach car, it's still a bit dirty in some parts. I'll give it another go and it should look a whole lot better. As you guys can see, with a little bit of plastic dressing squirted up under the guards, this thing looks a whole lot better. Although again, not Pebble Beach, but good enough for the streets. Seeing as I'm not doing a brake job today, we'll throw the wheel back on, get this thing underpans off. We'll chop a sump plug and get some oil out of it, shoot to Super Cheap and get some oil, and we'll give it a basic service. Sweet. Now under the car, we'll look at popping these doors off. There's one up here, and there's one over here. We may have to pull more of the tray down than actually just these doors to get to the oil filter and sump plug. There's also a door just there. I'm not super familiar with these cars, so we'll pull it all down and go from there. After pulling out a 10mm bolt here and another 10mm just at the back, I think I'm pointing to it just there, You can now see not much through this one, through this cavity door, but here is the old oil filter. I'm not sure exactly how we'll get to the sump plug on this car. I presume we'll take a bit more. Oh, there it is, just there. I'm not sure if I'm pointing at that for you. Feels like an Allen bolt. Just throw an Allen key in there and undo that and get some oil out of the thing, and hopefully not spill it all up in this under tray and make a bigger job than this is supposed to be, but we'll see. I've just cracked that sump plug. It's just a bit hard to film at the same time, but as you can see, 8mm Allen wrench. And then I've got to try and catch this oil without, one, scalding myself, and two, getting it everywhere. So apologies about the camera. There we go. I'm sure you guys have all seen 1,000 times the old keep pressure applied until you really want to get that plug out. You just push against the threads as hard as you can as you unscrew it, until you're feeling it sort of skip on the threads as you're backing it out. There it is, straight on in. Not half bad. So with the sump plug out, I'll just let this pan drain. I'll shoot to Super Cheap and get some new oil and a filter that fits the car, and I'll come back and whip the old oil filter out, which is pretty much the same as the sump plug. Just get a firm grip and twist it off. Try not to get it running down to your elbow and all over your floor, but hey, beggars can't be choosers, and we'll clean it up if we have to, but shoot on the Super Cheap. We'll just jump in the parts runner and go get some oil. Not a bad whip. Just thought I'd give you a little crack for the boys. Hey, now onto the motherland, Super Cheap. For those who don't know, you pretty much jump on here. I don't know the rego, so we'll go cars, Mazda. Then we go CX3, 2017. It's a 2 litre petrol, 4.2 litre, capacity 540. Any of these will do pretty much. We've got the goods from Super Cheap. Just taking the ute back home. We'll finish up this oil change. But yeah, just under 70 bucks for 530 Newlon. Not a bad drop with a decent Ryco filter, so getting out of it pretty cheap. All right, we'll try and get this filter out now without putting oil everywhere, which tends to happen more often than not, but we shall see how this goes. Not talking here. Got it? It's coming, yeah. Just hope it doesn't go everywhere. Not too bad, actually. There we go. Nice. So I've just tightened up that sump plug now. I did forget to film that, but I'm not sure if you can really see it from this angle, but I'm just going to pop the Allen key in and just nip it up. It doesn't need to be super tight. Probably that much will do. Now time for the new filter and pop some oil in it. So picked up the 530 from Super Cheap. I'll just pop a little bit of new oil around this seal. Some people say to do it, some people say not to do it. Some people say to fill it up, some people say don't, but I will fill it up anyway. As you can see, the oil filter's filled up. Whether or not you have to do this, I don't know, but this is just what I was taught, and I've done it forever with no problem. So little film around the top, we'll screw it back up and be done with it. So the plug's in, some plugs in, got the new oil filter on. Just be sure to wipe everything down once you've done everything, so you can check for oil leaks at a later date, or if it starts to leak at any point you can see it.
That oil filter is spotless, and so is that sump plug. So we'll pop these under tray covers back on. Actually, no, I'll pop some oil in it first and we'll check for leaks and then pop these covers back on. Time to pop some oil in this little ripper. Online says I think 4.2 litres. I'm not sure if that's with or without the filter being filled prior. This is a 5 litre oil container, so I'll pop 4 in it and drop the car down, make sure it's all leveled out, and then dipstick check it and then just top it up from there. I would say no funnel gang, but hey, let's be honest, this is going to go everywhere if I try and do that, so one hand is enough for me. Just coming under the car after popping some oil in it and just having a look here to see if there's any form of leak from the sump plug, but there appears to be nothing. It's dry as a bone, nor from the oil filter, so we're good to go ahead and pop these under trays back on, screw it back up and get this car off the jack stand. And time's come just to lower the car again. The longest part of this process is getting the jack up to the same height as the car. Take a look under those guards, absolutely spotless. Not bad for 10 minutes worth of work. Yep, there we go. Just make sure I shift this old oil out of the way and not spill it all over the floor. Now we'll just bring it down. Alright, now that the car's off the jack stand, we'll just clean this stick and check it for an oil level. 4.16, I think the internet said. We'll call it 4.2-ish. We're pretty much right on that second dot. It's only just come down off the stand, so I might give it a couple of minutes, check it again. But for now, I'll whip that air cleaner out and have a quick look and see how that's going. Just a couple of clips. Just a bit of stuff in it, but I'll throw the compressed air through that and that should be more than fine. Pop that back in for another few thousand Ks, it'll do. Just blew out that air filter. Just pop these clips back on here. One done. You can see that one. Everything's a bit harder to do one-handed. There we go. There's a couple of these front dog leg type things that this box slides in and clips down. So I've just checked the dipstick again. That's spot on. I topped it up a little bit just prior. Bit of water in the washer bottle. Coolant expansion tank's fine. There's definitely enough coolant in it. Doesn't spill any. Very neat engine bay actually. Might just start a clean up. Still got to pull this other wheel off and clean up under that guard. Tire pressures we've just done, they're all good. But this guard could definitely use with a bit of TLC, which is a bit dirty. I've just had a quick look at these belts down here and they look absolutely fine. It's a bit hard without the torch on the phone, but the grooves look absolutely fine and the outside of the belt looks good. There's no cracks, no fraying, no tearing, nothing. It looks really good. I've just removed the wheel, take some glare off there. As you can see, it's pretty filthy under here. I don't know how I'm gonna go just with brushes and APC getting these bits of, looks like line markings off the road off. It scratches off with your nail, but that may be a little bit more than what I'm willing to do today. So just everywhere. Could get maybe just a Scotch-Brite pad on and just rub that, it may come up all right, so we'll have a look. This paint is proving very difficult to remove, and there is quite a bit of it under the guard. Well, not actually difficult, there's just a lot of it. I'm having to use my fingernail mostly to scratch it off. Tried a green scourer pad, sort of something you'd find in your kitchen, but it's not really doing anything. I might try a wider something like this out of my trim removal tool pack. That may actually just pop all the bits of paint off the plastic easily enough, so we'll give that a go, see how it goes. It does seem to be removing a whole lot more than my fingernail was, so I'll pop on another time lapse and see how we go. As you guys can see, it looks a whole lot better in here now. The glare's still there, but I can't really get that away. There we go, might be better. So a lot of that paint is now gone. Is it all gone? No. Is it worth me putting another hour into actually scraping it off? Probably not. There's a bit right up in the guard there, as you can see. Once the wheel's on and the car's on the ground, you can't see it. For some reason though, whenever I used this, nothing actually came off with the scourer. I used a various assortment of these trim removal tools with not much effect. But the old fingernail mate, she came in clutch. I've just dressed it with some, what do you call it, plastic and trim sort of rejuvenator. It's 50-50 in water, and you just spritz it on and let it sit. By the time I put the wheels back on this, it'll lose that real wet look and just go more of a dull. Pardon the postie going past there. But yeah, this does look a whole lot better than it did before. Sorry about the glare again, there we go. The interesting things with these CX3s and a lot of these newer cars is the carpeted wheel liner. Now this is a car I tend to clean and wash semi-regularly. I'm not going to worry about the rear guards today, because next time I have the gurney out, I'll just spray the carpets down. That should be fine, and then I'll hit with the dressing on the plastics at the back. But as you can see, the carpet's a bit dirty, and I'll hose that out at a later date. All right, guys. Now that the service is done, just to reset this trip meter, so we've got, sorry, not trip meter, the service light. You can see the spanners on down in the bottom right of the dash cluster there. We're going to use this central sort of spinny module down here to go to settings, and we'll reset this. Sorry, we'll go home and we'll go to applications, and we'll go status monitor, maintenance, and we will go scheduled. We will say due 12 months, distance 10,000 kilometers, oil change due in 10,000 Ks. And now you've seen, so tyre rotation, I will do that at a later date, so we'll just leave that alone. But as you can see, in 12 months or 10,000 kilometers, whichever comes first, and then an oil change again at 10,000 Ks. You can see now that that little spanner's gone from the bottom right corner of the cluster, and this car's right to hit the road for another 10,000 Ks before we change the oil. I think in about, I'd say 3,000 to 5,000 Ks, I might pull a wheel off and check out brake pads again. It's not squealing, there's no shudders or grinding or anything like that. There's quite a bit of meat left on the pads, but I think to be better safe than sorry, I'll keep an eye on it, and in another, say, 3,000 to 5,000 Ks, I'll have another look. By that point, it may need pads, and or it might just be worth changing the pads and doing a brake fluid change as well. But that's it for the servicing. That pretty much sums up the oil change and filter change on a 2017 Mazda CX3. I hope you guys enjoy the bit of the OCD cleaning, maintenance cleaning I like to call it, but it is a bit over the top for the average person. Thanks for checking the video out. Drive your cars mean, but keep them clean. Thanks, guys.